Yeah, it really is very strange. I mean, I've seen it happen before. It's not reported on, obviously, because it may be that the high powered individuals that are embroiled in these kind of conflicts where they say, hey, if you represent A, I'm not going to have you continue to represent me. And it's usually very high net worth individuals that might not be newsworthy, like this one.
It's looking like Diddy is just taking some more L's. It's been a little bit quiet when it comes to what's going on with his case and this entire investigation. But from a public eye, it's looking like Diddy is still being pushed out, and some of the actors and music artists who were surrounded by him are starting to distance themselves from Diddy. So most recently, he got dropped by one of the biggest law firms that supports and really represents a lot of high level clients. One of those clients is Lady Gaga, which we're going to get into here in a second. But let's check out this article from Hot New Hip Hop. All right. They say Diddy allegedly dropped by law firm at their client Lady Gaga's request. All right. Now, this is alleged. They don't really have anything to back this up, but this information came from somewhere. So take that for what you will. Take this largely unconfirmed report with a grain of salt. But it's possible that celebrities are taking a strong stance against Diddy. A new unconfirmed report from News Nation suggests that the powerful New York City law firm, we're going to call them GSMS, just dropped one of their clients, Diddy. Moreover, the firm reportedly represents many music industry titans. And if the report is true, they likely cut ties with him due to his various accusations and lawsuits concerning the assault, abuse, and trafficking. However, apparently the decision manifested at the request of another one of GSMS's clients, Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga said she was leaving the firm if they didn't drop Diddy, and she's too big to lose. Wow. An alleged insider told the publication. I mean, I believe it. I'm sure a lot of people hear things in the office and see things. So Lady Gaga's making a phone call or sending an email. Someone would know about that. Furthermore, this comes amid other news that the city of Miami has canceled its Diddy Day. Oh man, that did not.
Hey, yo.
That title did not age well. Back to this specific case, Sean Diddy Combs allegedly knows Alan Grubman and was with GSMS for over 2 decades. The firm reportedly involved itself in various successful stadium runs and catalog sales over the years with massive industry players like The Weeknd, Lil Nas X, and more, which we're going to talk about some of the heavy hitters they had that they represent as well. At press time, neither the Bad Boy Moguls team nor representatives from the firm have publicly responded to these claims. All right, so let's get into it. Shout out to Law and Crime. They have a series that they do over there called Sidebar, where they talk about some of the things that are happening in the legal world. And we've actually seen a lot of the coverage that they've done from the Little Woody and YSL trial. But they brought on an attorney that we saw in the past who covers and who is involved in a lot of these high profile cases. And he kind of points out how interesting it is that a law firm would do this, because in most cases, when you get into legal trouble, if you have a lawyer that's representing you, they're supposed to be the person that has your back the most. In this case, of course, for Diddy, it's looking like he is no friends at all in this situation. So let's see what Bradford Cohen has to say about this. Check it out.
Yeah, it really is very strange. I mean, I've seen it happen before. It's not reported on, obviously, because it may be that the high powered individuals. Yeah, it really is very strange. I mean, I've seen it happen before. It's not reported on, obviously, because it may be that the high powered individuals that are embroiled in these kind of conflicts where they say, hey, if you represent A, I'm not going to have you continue to represent me. And it's usually very high net worth individuals that might not be newsworthy, like this one. But yeah, it's unusual that the move is that she went to them allegedly and said, hey, listen, if you keep representing Sean Combs, then I'm not going to allow you to represent myself. I think it's an unusual move. Now, sometimes it's because of a personal issue that individual may or may not have had with that individual. But if it's just a kind of a question of her own morality or her version of whatever ethical obligation she has to herself and saying like, hey, if you represent me on contracts, then I can't let you represent this other individual that's accused of all these heinous crimes on contracts. I think.
Yeah, I'll let him finish. In
this bubble, it's kind of a stretch. If it was a criminal defendant and, someone said, hey, listen, this person has been brought up on horrible crimes, horrendous facts, and he is now charged with a crime. I don't feel comfortable with a law firm that's going to go forward representing him. If you're also representing me, that would be a little bit more understanding. But as of right now, he is not indicted. He has been accused of a lot of things. Obviously, he's settling out some of these civil cases, which I think is a smart idea. I believe the reason why some of these cases are settling out is probably because it's time for depositions. And certainly in a case where you have a civil case, it gives you leverage when the individual is being prosecuted criminally, because you're asking for a deposition on that civil case where you could explore some of those criminal issues that go to his character or his veracity for truthfulness, things of that nature, where you want to avoid being deposed. And I believe that's why that civil case was probably settled. It's probably in a later stage of the civil realm than some of these other cases. Some of these other cases are brand new. So
yeah, and I think the interesting thing here too is, if you're Lady Gaga, I kind of get it, because say you ever have some legal trouble, which if you're in the public eye, you're going to end up having some legal issues, whether that be, you bumping into somebody while you're leaving the Grammys and they say it's assault, or you have situations that were your fault to where you were doing some crazy things behind the scenes. But you don't want to be associated with this, because anytime you have a trouble or issue, it's going to be brought up in the press that, yeah, Lady Gaga's in trouble for getting a traffic ticket, and the law firm represented Diddy in his entire case and situation. So I'm surprised that, especially with someone as powerful and with as many resources as Diddy, that they would choose him over Lady Gaga. It really doesn't make sense to me, but maybe they're seeing the writing on the wall, or somebody on the inside told Lady Gaga that she needs to make this move so they can get out from under whatever is going on with Diddy. I don't know. It's weird.
Those depositions might not be set. This case, I think, was probably a little bit older, and that's why you're at a stage where depositions would be taken.
Hey, everybody. I want to thank Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring.
All right, so shout out to Law and Crime for that one. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this, because now you have to figure out who's going to represent Diddy. I think when it comes to law firms, I think they'll probably be lined up. There'll be a line of firms that want to represent Diddy in this case, but we still haven't heard any news on what's going on with the investigation. Are the indictments coming? Is something going to be filed? Really, I don't know what we're waiting on at this point, because it seems like there's been ample enough time and ample enough evidence for something to be done when it comes to taking action against Diddy. So we'll have to keep up to date on that and see who's going to represent him going forward.